Switching gears to the world of politics, we know that President Trump and UK Prime Minister are set to discuss security guarantees for the Ukraine today. We also know that, well, Trump is bringing tariffs back into the conversation as well. 25% tariffs on Mexican and Canadian goods are set to take effect on March 4th, while also threatening to impose an additional 10% on Chinese imports on the same date. Joining us now to discuss all of this, hey, our guy is back, Mr. Adam Mockler, Gen Z political strategist and journalist for The Midas Touch, has been breaking down Musk's power struggle on his YouTube with over 740,000 subscribers. Always good to see you, Adam. Welcome back to the show.
Always good to be on. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, but of course, let's jump into it because, boy, do we have a lot to discuss. We're going to kick it off with Mr. Elon Musk, who, well, as you know, sir, happens to be making headlines for his aggressive firing spree, upsetting Trump, appointed cabinet picks, and officials. The move has sparked backlash from Trump allies who argue that Musk is really overstepping his authority. So I say to you, sir, your take overall on Mr. Musk thus far being a part of the administration.
You know, I think that he has a noble goal. Everyone wants the government to be more efficient. And if he was trying to report fraud, waste, and abuse through the proper channels, taking it to the courts and saying, hey, we have waste here, and then demonstrating it to the public, I think that we'd all be for that. But he's doing this weird thing where he has a bunch of tech teens, and with zero oversight, or very little oversight, they are going from agency to agency to agency, firing people with zero sort of strategy behind it. And then, yeah, again, there's very little oversight. Elon Musk is selectively tweeting out some random data, but even he gets it wrong half of the time. So it's odd to see the richest man in the world buy his way into the White House and then start to shred different agencies. I've read a lot of stories of federal workers who get fired, and they're like, I voted for Trump 3 times in a row. I voted for Trump all 3 times, and now I get fired. I've been working for the government for 10 years. Why did I get fired? So it's like, yeah, it seems really indiscriminate the way they're firing people, and it does not seem good.
Yeah, Adam, no doubt about it. It has to sting. And speaking of it stinging, apparently Elon Musk doing just that with a number of Trump loyalists. You heard me make mention, a number of folks that happen to be very close to Trump, his allies, if you will, are saying, hey, we've had enough with Mr. Musk.
Yeah. I mean, there was the first real clash, the first real power struggle when Elon Musk sent out that email, and the email said, you have 48 hours to respond to this or else you're automatically resigning, basically. It's just terrible leadership. Maybe that works in like a small tech firm that you started up in your garage, but not for the federal government. And then multiple of Trump's biggest allies, people like Kash Patel, people like Tulsi Gabbard, who's the head of the DNI, or who's the DNI right now, said, hey, if you work here at the FBI or if you work under me, you do not have to follow Elon Musk's directive. So it was an actual power struggle where Elon Musk was telling the federal workers to do one thing because apparently Trump told them to be more aggressive. And then the actual heads of these agencies were conflicting with what Elon Musk said. And of course, the head of the agency is going to win out. So now Elon Musk is just... he's losing his power, he's losing his grip, and he's kind of spiraling on Twitter. He posts on Twitter like 200 times a day. Have you seen that? It's wild.
Yeah, definitely seen that. We talk about it a lot. Hey, I'm going to ask you several questions because, in essence, you have the pulse of all Gen Zers, I would argue. And we'll start with this first one, and that happens to surround the firings. I was told that certain federal employees were told that they can return to the office to collect their items, but they only had 15 minutes to do so. The question that I'm going to pose around that is, obviously, I'm a little bit older and I have been let go before, not because of behavioral issues, but that's just the way it is. Never told that I only had 15 minutes. It could be deemed somewhat disrespectful. I would argue yet again, perhaps a number of Gen Zers haven't been in a position to work somewhere long enough to yet again been fired and told they got 15 minutes. Your take on the 15-minute aspect of, hey, you did a great job, did nothing wrong, but you got 15 minutes to get out. How are Gen Zers feeling about that?
Yeah, I think the entire idea of that happening is disrespectful. No matter how old or young you are, it's disrespectful to give somebody 15 minutes. But the entire firings have been sloppy, the way they've been doing it. They also did something disrespectful where they fire people, and then the people get locked out of their work emails immediately, and then they lose access to a lot of key information. So there was a story where there were nuclear stockpile worker, people who maintain our nuclear stockpiles on a yearly basis. And these people are highly specialized, highly qualified, and they got fired. A large amount of them got fired and locked out of their federal email. And then after the Trump admin in Doge realized they made a mistake, 24 hours later they tried to email these people to come back, but they couldn't reach them to maintain our nuclear stockpile. So it's disrespectful to the workers, to people who are working for our federal government. These people are serving our country, by the way, just because they're not like veterans. They're still serving our country. And many of them are veterans, by the way. That doesn't stop Trump from firing them. But these federal workers are serving our country, whether they're young, whether they're old, and they just get indiscriminately fired in a very disrespectful way. And then sometimes Elon Musk is like, wait a minute, we didn't mean to fire you. You're actually very, very important and very qualified. You got to come back. It's all just very sloppy. And like I said at the beginning, we all want government efficiency. Nobody wants the government to be wasteful and inefficient. Just don't do it like this.
Adam, we're going to take yet again another live look at the White House, where we now know that President Trump is soon to be meeting with the United Kingdom Prime Minister. The topic of discussion, all things surrounding Ukraine and Russia. Yet again, Gen Zers keeping up with this discussion. Is it of importance, do you think?
It is very, very important to me. I'm not sure all of Gen Z cares as much. I mean, a lot of Gen Z does care about foreign policy. I think Ukraine is one of the most important issues right now, and Trump's response has been below my worst expectations. And I think if anybody cares about democracy abroad, anybody cares about sort of defeating Russia and making sure that Ukrainian sovereignty could be protected, it should be important to you. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Trump has been parroting Putin's justification for the war, basically verbatim. It's been really grim to see the U.S. president doing that, but Zelensky's a good leader. Zelensky will pull through. I think we'll all pull through. Yeah.
Hey, Adam, are you a fan of omelets? Because I got to tell you, I've been saying this time and time again. I happen to be a fan. However, the price of eggs, continues to skyrocket. Yet again, we know the economy happens to be top of mind for a lot of Americans. Would you argue that it is also an issue with a number of Gen Zers?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd say it's issue number one. The issues that are close to home, like actually close to, I care a lot about foreign policy, but the average American, the average Gen Zer cares about things that are close to home, as in when they go to the grocery store or when you're driving to work every day and you see the gas prices on the gas station sign. That's the biggest indicator. So the prices of things need to go down. Trump made this promise over and over, and we knew that he was just saying stuff, but he made the promise over and over that prices were going to go down. Yet when it comes to the new flu that is currently causing prices or egg prices to go up, the bird flu, he's not helping the case. He's firing people who were supposed to be in, like, working the communications for that. Also, he fired a team of people working to prevent the bird flu and then tried to rehire them the next day. This just goes back to what we were talking about 2 minutes ago about how sloppy they are. They are very, very sloppy with how they're doing this. And Trump has signed over 100 executive orders. None of them have had the price, because prices go down. But, the J6ers are out and free, so at least that's there.
Yeah, you just touched on it, Adam, and this is what we'll end with, the executive orders. We know the president started signing them day one. Out of all the executive orders that have been signed thus far, anything in particular stand out to, well, let's say Gen Zers?
Out of all of the executive orders, there's been a few that have just been unnecessarily cruel. I think that there was one that went super viral about him signing something regarding there only being two genders, and then that ended up screwing over a bunch of people trying to get passports, trying to leave the country. A lot of the immigration stuff has been cruel, but overall, I think the vast majority of executive orders have been purely performative, not actually meant to help any of the American people. I mean, when he pardons 1,500 January 6ers en masse, purely performative. I don't think that's gonna look good long term. I don't think the Gen Zers appreciate that.
All right, commentary by Mr. Adam Mockler. Adam, folks that want to follow you, I know you already have over 740,000 followers, but hey, wouldn't help to get a couple more. Might as well. How would folks go about to do so?
Yeah, just look up on YouTube or on TikTok or Twitter, wherever you go. Adam Mockler, Mockler. Thank you. I always enjoy coming on.
No doubt. We truly appreciate you coming on the show. Once again, Mr. Adam Mockler joining us on the Live Zone.